And we're live. Welcome to the Gourd Ox Pub, where we make art until we part.
Shall we what?
Till we part.
Shall we part?
Yeah, say goodbye. Adios.
Okay. Man, I'm thinking art blew apart. Blew the whole damn thing apart.
So how's it going?
Oh, well, it's been better, but my hand's not as bad as it was.
That's good.
That's what I am implying. I haven't gotten a chance to read your story yet.
Oh, that's fine. That was, yeah, that's probably my fastest output ever. So,
Fastest what?
output.
Output? Okay.
Yeah. Because,
I don't know what my fastest output ever is.
okay.
Well, like when you said that, I started thinking, do I even know what mine is?
Well, I know that the one flash piece that I wrote took only one day. Like between classes, like I was proctoring a test and bored and wrote the thing during that. But I figured that was 1,000 words. This story was just shy of 6,500. Like it's at like 6,491 or something like that. And I think if I look at my Google Doc where I started, I started it on like late Friday night, and then I was done Sunday. So either 3 days or 2 days, however you want to really look at it. And that's more words probably. Plus, there are some revisions on that because there are a few false starts and then how do I put it? Well, there were some plot holes that I started to notice. So I was like, I probably should go back and fix that. That kind of thing. So I don't know if it really hits all the things I wanted it to hit, but, I tried. Actually, I was thinking about that story the other day and about, I saw somebody on YouTube offering some advice about writing, and they said something that I kind of thought was smart with writers who have been trained on watching movies. There are certain challenges for those people, and okay. I have very low Wi-Fi right now. Anyway, so I got to thinking about how, I'm not trained on movies necessarily. I'm trained on novels. And I'm trying to fit in a novel's worth of ideas into short stories sometimes. That's one of the problems. And it's because I've read short stories, but I wouldn't say that was my go-to, story delivery, I guess. I generally prefer novels. So thought that might be, I don't know, just there are pluses and minuses to however you're trained, I suppose. Best part is to just, I suppose, learn from them all.
Well, yeah. Usually movies' strengths are dialogue. And novel strengths are exposition and tone and voice. I mean, you can have voice in a movie too, but more often it's the actor's interpretation of the voice.
Well, I also think there are pacing issues if you're just watching movies.
If you're just watching movies?
Well, I'm saying if that's what you're trained on, or that's the most, if that's the thing you're consuming the most, and kind of basing your writing off of what you're learning from that, then yeah, I think that there's the pacing of a novel or of a movie can be, because what takes so little time to show in a film, takes way more exposition. And so yeah, the pacing falls apart because it's hard to translate some of those skills. But I'm not saying that you can't be trained off of watching novels. In fact, you could just have natural
watching movies.
Watching movies, not watching.
Yeah, I know what you meant though. I know what you meant.
I don't, again, multiple ways of doing things, but I could see where one technique would more logically lead to certain results more often, I guess.
I think when it comes to storytelling, that there are definitely technical difficulties.
Uh-oh.
Small matter. The light plug is right next to the plug for my laptop, and well, kind of was stepping on the cord, and it's not in a tight socket, I guess. Like it doesn't fit tightly in there.
Okay.
So it doesn't take anything to shake the connection. All right, so what I did was I took the drawing from last week and I shrunk it down. Should be about 20%. So I'm going to do this as Queen of the Black Coast. So I needed to shrink it down so that I'd be able to put wings on the ape. Because they have wings.
Yeah, of course.
Story. But he fights them with a sword. He also fights them with a bow.
But hey, he's holding a sword, and gosh darn it, now it works.
Yeah, right? It's going to work anyway.
Yeah, it's true.
I like to do wings. But so I had to shrink it down so that when I apply it to the next sheet, it's small enough to slide down and do wings. What was I going to say? Oh, have you read Queen of the Black Coast?
Nope.
I'm sure you haven't, right? Because you haven't read much for Robert Howard.
Yeah.
You've seen Conan the Barbarian, right?
Oh, yeah.
I'm talking about the Schwarzenegger one.
Yeah.
So there's something in Queen of the Black Coast that they put in Conan the Barbarian. Trying to find it. but they attributed it to the wrong person.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to share this, but I'm going to highlight a passage. So. Okay, let's see. It's really the end of this piece that I'm going to show you, but yeah, I'm just highlighting the whole paragraph, so.
Okay. That's a happy passage. What are thews? I don't even know what that word is.
What word?
Thews. Okay.
I'm trying to see where you're at, so it's not
It's the next paragraph. It's the second line. The thews started out like cords on his forearm as he swung his great sword, pivoting on his heel with the force of the sweeping arc.
That's thews. So it would be.
According to Google, it's muscles.
Yes. But particularly, they used it to describe like, like where the tendons and the muscles meet. Like if your neck, if you see all the shit that stands out in your neck when you're, angry and stretching it and all that, that's thews.
Okay.
I was looking to see if it was something else, but yeah.
No, thews.
Yep.
Thews.
But remember, this was written in 1930 something. So.
Okay.
But yeah, the point was that her impassioned cry was where I still in death and you fighting for your life, I would come back from the abyss.
Right.
That's what Valeria says.
Well, if you're gonna steal a line, steal a line.
Yeah, but they read better than Valeria.
Okay.
All right, so taking a shrunken version basically, and just making sure that the lines that I put in are pretty much all there. So I know. Yeah, so fuse, I'm thinking sinew.
Right. Yeah, hey, there are
No,
plenty of
like
words I've never seen
that's
and
why I
never
kind of
will.
stopped. I was
And
like,
that's not because I ain't looking.
I knew there was a word that could relate it a little bit better what I was thinking, but I just for some reason couldn't draw on it at the moment. So then it popped up. So I was telling you, yeah, it was sinews that I was thinking of. And that's always kind of how I read it. Is it just another version of sinew?
Well, just I haven't seen it.
Now I know clearly it's another version of muscle, unless that definition is wrong.
Well, it said like, hold on. The work I do for this.
Because you don't love language.
Yeah, so it says, this is from
Hold
Colin's
up,
dictionary.
right?
Muscular power or bodily strength is one definition. And the other definition is muscles or sinews. So
Okay, so yeah, I always related it to sinews. So.
ugh.
Dog is barking me when I want him to stop, and it says, "Please stop." Like that dog will listen to please.
I had to give my dog a bath tonight, which I traded test data breaking down for giving the dog a bath. So I was okay with that.
Unless I'm thinking ACDC song, giving the dog a bath.
Yeah, but God, the fleas have been terrible on her this year, and we keep she takes medication for it, and we keep giving her baths, and it's like, okay, dog, we don't have carpets and stuff, but the vet said they've been really bad this year. They said that it's just been a bad year for them. And okay, it's nice, but the dog keeps like half. I guess she jackknifes basically, trying to bite her own butt because the fleas are on it. It's just like, God, dog, you can't even walk. And I guess she's getting used to taking a bath because I brought her up and I was like, all right, get in the tub. And I mean, she fussed a little, but then she got in. I didn't have to pick her up or anything. And she sat until I was done. So I've never understood why dogs really don't like baths. I'm like, you normally love getting attention. This is attention. And I've seen you jump into water, so it's not like you fear water, but whatever. I see videos on Facebook every once in a while of some cat or dog just getting a bath and loving it, and I'm like, how do you get the creature to enjoy that?
Like a lot of the dogs I've known have, but they're dogs that like to swim, and they're already like water and playing in water, and so if you're not out there playing with them and playing in water or whatever, they might not have it naturally without it. All right. I thought there'd be a lot more to it, but I don't think so.
So guess we're done. I'm just kidding.
Well, I guess technically you can quit whenever you want.
I'm just joking. Ah.
This is going to be a fun piece, at least as far as I'm concerned. And I have my board all set up. And I do need actually use my paper cutter, because while this shrink it, I think we put it back where it's supposed to be at the bottom. So that should leave plenty of room for wings. Like wings.
Because wings are fun.
You know, I like the whole bat wing look. Now I just cut this with this. So if it's not an even edge.
We have that.
You want what?
Have that. I'm not sure. Have that.
Hi.
Let's go. Over there.
You're saying one more day of school, though. That's not true. So you got a day off, right? Yeah, that doesn't mean that that's the last day of school. You don't even want the last day of school. You're thinking you're going to school next year, and you won't be going to school next year. You'll be done before this year is done. Yeah, May 17th, right? Okay. That was kind of a it's kind of a long discussion when you have to interpret half of it.
Yeah, a little bit, but you know, it's worth it.
It's worth it. Yeah. At least I tell myself that.
I saw it's. I feel terrible because I should know how to pronounce this, but
what?
The Jim is it Baen Memorial Short Story Award? Baen.
Oh, Baines. Like
Jim
I don't
Baen?
know. Yeah, I don't know exactly. I just pronounce it the way I hear it pronounced, and I've heard it most often pronounced Bain.
Well, there's no S.
Like, huh?
I mean, Baen Books. There's no S. Baen.
What? I didn't say anything with an S.
No, I think it said Baines. Okay.
No, Bain.
My bad.
I was gonna say like the Batman villain.
Okay.
But I hadn't gotten that far.
All right. Yep, that makes sense.
That is the way I've heard it pronounced, and I don't know anyone yet, like maybe Orson Scott Card,
Yeah.
who Well, I guess maybe Kim Powers too, who actually knew Jim Bain. So, like the ones that I knew, they are now either dead or not available. Eric Flint did, because that's how Eric Flint actually got in his editor-in-chief for Bain Books position, right?
Right.
And Tom Doherty knows him, obviously, because Tom Doherty was his partner, and Bain Books is an offshoot, actually, of Tom Doherty's businesses.
Well, I was just the short story contest for the Jim Bain Memorial Short Story Award is opening up the end of the month through.
They just finished a fantasy one, right?
Yeah. So
I didn't know about it until too late. So
submissions are from October 1st through February 1st of next year, and
that is my anniversary.
So it says what we want to see: moon bases, Mars colonies, orbital habitats, space elevators, asteroid mining, artificial intelligence, nanotechnology, realistic spacecraft, heroics, sacrifice, adventure. So I have
Until I got the sacrifice adventure, when you said, we say elevator?
Space
For
elevators.
some reason, all I could think of was that song, that Dr. Demento song. Went to a game to see the LA Raiders. Couldn't get out of those little elevators.
Nice.
You know the one that I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think so. Huh. So
Because he had to fart in the elevator.
yeah,
So, well, I was just picturing what would that be like in a space elevator. You can't escape that.
it'll be a while. But so do they lean more toward hard science fiction, or
That sounded like it.
that's what I was thinking. Says they don't want stories that show technology or space travel as evil or bad.
Right, so they don't want dystopian.
Galactic empires, paranormal elements, UFO abductions, zombie stories, thinly veiled copies of previous winners' non-standalone novel excerpts, or screenplays. So, yeah, I'm going to guess they want harder science fiction.
Yeah, I would say so. They don't want space opera. They made that apparent. Because space opera usually deals with evil empires or aliens, right?
Yeah, something.
And they're talking about realistic space travel. So, have you ever read the book Mars by Ben Bova?
Nope.
I would suggest. I don't know how you feel about hard sci-fi, so I'll just put this out. That is the only hard sci-fi book that I've read that I would recommend because it didn't bore the shit out of me, right?
Okay.
Well, I'm being honest. Like, it may be just too highbrow. I may be just too stupid to get it or whatever, but I don't enjoy that really. Like, I don't enjoy Asimov's hard sci-fi. A lot of the action happens off screen, so it just bores the hell out of me. But Ben Bova's Mars in particular. It's a book about a mission to Mars, and it's very like Red Planet, the movie.
Okay.
Which I almost think that Red Planet was inspired by it.
Yeah.
But it starts with all the people that are hopeful for winning a seat on this mission, right?
Okay.
And then it goes into theoretic space travel, where it's realistic theoretic space travel. I think the most baloney is, and it might even not be, is that they have a ring around the ship that goes a certain revolutions per minute or hour or whatever that creates false gravity.
Yeah.
But it deals with issues of the people on the ship. There are different races, there are different religions, there are different issues that they would normally have on Earth, but they're really in a confined space. The crucible, right? Where they can't get out once they get in because they're on their way to Mars. I thought it was a really good book. It deals with, like, when you watch a movie generally with that kind of space travel, and they're worried about meteors or whatever, they're talking about meteors, like these meteors that they're looking out for in this book. They are that big, they're like a size of a kernel of corn or something that they're worried about, because they can still penetrate a hull. So I guess what I'm kind of hinting at overall is that if you want to write a hard sci-fi for that might be a good example, because it shows you that you can still write a good story without having to rely heavily on scientific concepts that are out there, like way out there. When I say out there, I mean like Exeter. That was a perfect chance to do an Obi-Wan line.
I could have.
Exeter. Now there's a name.
Nice.
I think that sword might actually be a little bit too long right there.
That's what he said.
I don't know what establishments that you've been frequenting, but
you said that.
I don't talk about he's that say that.
You said it. Last I checked, that was your preferred pronoun.
Well, that seems odd that you'd say that's what he said instead of that's what you said.
Well, I mean, I could have
You were
said
talking to
that's
me.
what you said, but
I mean, generally, you don't call the person you're talking by talking
maybe
to
I was talking to our viewers.
distant. What you were just talking to me.
But maybe on that one, I was talking to the viewers.
You just established you were talking to me. You should have said that in the first place, because now you're trying to back out.
Oh goodness.
Anyway.
Hey, whatever floats the goat. So, if you do, well, let's say like you wanted to draw something that was it's basically the Sesame Street does Conan.
Huh?
I'm just saying, if you wanted to draw something that was basically two wildly different IPs, like Sesame Street does Conan, which, now that I'm saying that just sounds amazingly fun. Or a Muppet version of Conan. Oh. They should do a Muppet version of Mad Max. That'd be amazing. But anyway, never mind. I think I already know my answer. I think I figured out my own answer. There. Thanks for helping out, Rich.
I haven't even figured out your question.
Yeah, well, I figured out my answer. So. Also, I still think a Muppet Mad Max film would be incredibly fun.
Now, do Muppet Furiosa, they wouldn't even have to have two different stages.
What?
I said do Muppet Furiosa, they wouldn't even have to have two different stages.
Oh, okay.
Because all she does is go out so far and then come back.
Yeah, I know. I saw the Furiosa film. And I was glad I watched it at home. Because, don't get me wrong, I don't mind saying that I'm more enthralled with the world that Mad Max is in than I am with Mad Max. So there's a lot in that movie for me to enjoy. But there was also a lot that I was just like, like just, it was just the pacing was off.
I think I'd agree much more with you if there was a consistent world.
Well,
the only thing consistent is there's no gas. Well, that's not even consistent, so whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I can kind of see that. Especially when it gets hard to make all of the movies jive when...
I think that I would have liked to see them expand on the idea of Thunderdome, where there were cities with different trade systems or whatever.
Well, I think that's what they were kind of going for. With Bullet Town and all that. Did you see
Bullet Town, or did you just hear about Bullet Town?
It was in the movie.
Which movie?
The Furiosa one.
The prequel to Mad Max Furiosa.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't in the Mad Max Furiosa.
No,
or wait, Fury Road. Sorry, that's what I'm conflating. I'm conflating the two. So it wasn't in. It was mentioned in Fury Road, but they never showed it. So
so you get to see it in. Now it's Furiosa, right? That's the prequel, right?
I guess. Like I was talking about Fury Road, and I was saying Furiosa.
Okay. Yeah. So there were elements from from Fury Road that did get expanded on that I thought was kind of cool. But
yeah, I didn't care about that. that wasn't what I wanted to see expansion on.
Oh, well.
It was Bartertown that I wanted to see expanded on.
Yeah, that's one of those things where I'm like, no, that's not horrible. No, stop that. Anyway, yeah, like in the timeline, where does Bartertown fit in? And you know, I mean, there's some things like that where it's just like
Bartertown was very much more interesting to me than any of the other towns. Like, I didn't see, I haven't seen the new one, so I really can't speak to that, but I didn't think that Immortan Joe's capital had generated any of the kind of interest, or I didn't see any real traditions except for spraying their teeth and you know, like I didn't really see like the whole Master Blaster original scene where they're fighting on the bungee cords, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Bungee cords before there were bungee cords. There was kind of a mythology developing there. Even the kids, the orphans that took him in or whatever, they had their own kind of mythology going too. They had their own different systems. So I really didn't see that in the new one that I saw, the last one that I saw. So I wasn't really expecting to see more of that in the newer one. So tell me I'm wrong. Tell me it's worth watching just because of that. Because other than that, it's not a Mad Max movie.
Well, see, that's one of those like. I guess I have sympathy for it because. Well, no, I mean.
No, it just cracked me up the way you put it.
The Mad Max films that were made with Mel Gibson had certain technological limits and budgetary limits. And Fury Road is a wildly different picture in a way because they could do more things. And yeah, I think they did. Just because the plot is stupid, because we're going to drive out.
I don't think they did a whole lot of vastly different things than they did in the lower budget movies. It was basically the same thing as Mad Max 2, where it was a big ass fucking car chase. And crazy stunts and funky cars, and that's George Miller's MO, I guess. That's his thing. Like, I didn't see a whole lot of reason for an extra budget.
Yeah.
Other than the car chase thing and extra speaker systems, you know, like.
No, there's a whole subtext of like the car worship and just, you know, it's why they call it guzzling instead of gasoline. It's why they're spray painting themselves. It's why they go and get the steering wheels. You know, and it's why they have the cars the way they have the cars. Like there's some neat stuff going on there, and I liked it. Plot wise, yeah, it's a dumb plot. I'm sorry. I mean, it really. We're gonna keep driving, and then
we're gonna drive with the promise of getting somewhere, That's why we all risked our lives, but yet that somewhere is really not there.
Yeah, I never quite understood the end. Like, so they drive back. Okay, all right, I guess. It just didn't really make a lot of sense.
Right, because if they had planned to lead them away, you know what I mean, then that would be different because they had planned it. But they didn't plan to lead them away. They planned to escape to a better place.
That didn't exist. I'm kind of surprised you decided to stream tonight. Because,
The debate?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's still half hour off.
Oh.
What?
I was like, nope.
What?
I have no
Not,
interest.
not you. Hold on a second.
Oh.
Well, apparently the debate's now.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was at 9:30.
Candidates are being welcomed to the stage.
Oh, the candidates are being welcome to the stage right now.
Oh.
So do you want to hold off and go watch the debate?
No, I don't. Not at all. I mean, if you're dying to, whatever. But
I think that they are going to do their best to cheat Trump out of even speaking. They're talking about they've got kill switches on the mics and all this other shit. And then Kamala was supposed to. Her party was all like, "Oh, she's not going to have any notes and all this," and now she's going to have notes or want to have notes. Or we know it's just a setup to fucking try to get at Trump.
all right.
So I'm not like I'll watch the highlights of it later. Obviously, I don't need to see it all live right now.
I suppose one or the other could do something that would wildly change my opinion, but
I don't suppose that they can do anything to change my opinion. Not only have I heard pretty much everybody's. I've already heard everybody's deal. I've already heard everybody's promises and that Kamala has switched policies a few times, but she doesn't actually tell you what she's doing, right? It's somebody else that's telling you what her plans are. And I've noticed, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I've noticed with a lot of debates lately that what they're not doing is actually giving you answers for what they're doing or what they plan to do. What they're doing is trying to tell you what they think the other guy is going to do and how it's atrocious. We don't need to hear how the country could be more atrocious. We need to hear your plans for making it better. Right?
Yep.
And so that's one of the things that's kind of hard with debates lately is that while I enjoy a good lambasting as well as the next guy, I'm not getting any answers for it.
Yeah.
And Kamala hasn't answered any questions. She's even pretended she's on the phone.
Right.
She's pretending she's on the phone with her earphones in, and then she puts her phone up to her earphones. Nobody does that. It's all crap. I think all Trump needs to do is hold her to a record.
Yep.
Because they tried their hardest to make Kamala's record disappear. And Ben Shapiro was talking, I think yesterday, about how her poll numbers have gone down again. So she had reached a climax and now it's dropping again.
Yep.
But she's still not, answering questions about
anything.
What her plans are. Well, yeah, right. Anything. She's not answering questions about anything unless they are very, very tamed questions. And she's doing speeches about stuff that really is vapid.
Well, I think it's funny that the Democrats promise that Trump's going to enact Project 2025.
Yeah.
And
he separated himself from that a long time ago.
I know. It's not his plan. It was not something that he created. Not something. Whatever. Okay.
That guy that made that plan actually separated himself from the Heritage Foundation too. Did you know that?
Oh, I didn't know that, but
yeah, I just learned that yesterday too.
I just think it's funny. The Democrats are positive that's what Trump is going to do, but they still don't know what Kamala wants to do because she's, basically not doing it. She flip-flops, she hides her stuff. What she copied and pasted Biden's stuff and the stuff that she said she wasn't going to do, but now she said she's going to do it, and it's just like, okay, all right. No.
Right, it's ridiculous.
And yeah,
what she does is change so that she tries to chameleon with everybody she's talking to. And it's all just about getting votes. It's not about actually doing anything.
Well, it's like, did you see that Michigan is forcing RFK Jr. on the ballot? Like they're forcing his name, even though he's pulled his campaign and everything.
Yeah, I heard him say that there were certain states that were keeping him on the ballot.
Yeah,
but
they're not keeping Biden on the ballot.
Everyone that's for him, for RFK, already knows that he put his support behind Trump.
I know,
and that's an actual big step, because he's crossing the aisle. He's actually getting some blowback from his own family and everything, but he's doing it for the right reasons. And that's the thing that people are really oblivious to is they ascribe motives that aren't there, and they ignore the motives that are there. So anyone could have half the country's vote and be evil. Completely evil. I don't even believe that, Kamala is evil. I believe that she doesn't care about the same things. I don't think she's out to destroy the country, in her own view. But I think it's one of those skewed views that don't really jive with reality, right?
Right.
And I don't blame that on her. Maybe Montel had helped with that mindset. That's a joke about pot, but
I know. The pot that she didn't mind prosecuting others for.
Right. Everybody else for.
Yeah, and then laugh and chuckle and keep you in prison longer than you're supposed to be. But hey, whatever. She's going to save democracy.
Yeah, right. That's completely flawed, right?
Yeah.
You put a candidate up there to save democracy in the most non-democratic fashion.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty much a dictator fashion, or it's definitely not because the Democrats voted her in. It's because they didn't want to lose that money that they had already raised. I think Ben Shapiro was talking about a lot of the new polls are saying that people don't feel they know Kamala at all because she doesn't answer any questions. And
did you see what the Babylon Bee said?
And they feel like they know Trump because he does.
But did you see what the Babylon Bee?
Well, they said a lot of things. So, which particular one are you referring to?
That the Trump team has revealed their debate strategy. Trump will cede all his time to Kamala and then quietly play with his Tamagotchi, whatever it is. Just let her ramble and be done.
That's probably one of his best strategies. But he's not going to be able to sit there and let her talk shit about him. That's not one of his qualities. He's not like Charlie Kirk where he'll just let people talk shit into his face.
Yeah. But
that's actually part of the problem that he's got with debating is that he can't let those people say shit without, inserting his own. And if it's an insult, he'll have to insert an insult. Well, I don't know what my jangled mouth said.
They had Tulsi Gabbard help him, which I think is a stunning turn of fortune. I mean, I remember when Tulsi Gabbard ran for president, and I was like, well, if she was the Democrat nominee, I don't know who I'd necessarily want to vote for. And I at the very least, I would not have been upset. Like, so whatever. And yeah, the fact that she took out Kamala Harris was great. It was beautiful and wonderful. And the fact that she was helping then Donald Trump with his debate prep, I thought, yes. Yeah. Because that woman went for it. Like, she showed strong leadership. I thought that was great. So, whatever. We'll see. I'm sure no matter what, however the debate goes, here's my prediction. Legacy media says that Kamala won and that Trump was some kind of, evil orange man. Fox News will say that it was a close debate or something. And most of YouTube, or most of the non-traditional media, whatever they want to call themselves now, will be split along party lines. So you might get a few like the Daily Wire will probably say, unless Trump does something stupid, Daily Wire will call it relatively accurately.
I can't imagine Kamala winning the debate. Like, unless they cut Trump off every time he speaks and just don't let him speak.
Well,
but that will be an obvious tactic too, and everybody will notice it.
Here's what I keep thinking. She was a prosecutor. She won cases. So,
yeah, she wasn't as high.
Well, I'm saying that to underestimate her would be stupid. And
it's not her that we worry about underestimating.
Okay.
It's her handlers. Because you guarantee she's got some fucking cue cards or some shit that she's been practicing. Otherwise, she's going to start talking about lipstick and coffee wigs.
No, she'll talk about how what could be, unburdened by what has been, is what has been, but not burdened by what is. And that'll be what she talks about.
Yeah.
Oh,
Talking about that whole lipstick matching the color of the wig because she was the only one in there that had lipstick stains on her wig. So can we do something about these wigs?
Okay.
You didn't hear that?
No.
Oh, I'll send you a link.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, yeah, it was impressive.
And there, yeah.
It was just the kind of impressive that she normally is.
And what's funny is, I mean, I'm never going to pretend like I think Donald Trump is a great orator. It's just not his style.
No.
And, you know, that's not his strength, and I don't need it to be. You know what I mean?
think actually he's got a very personable personality, but like in the real world instead of the politic world where they tear you apart for everything you say, like in business world, you can make dirty jokes or make smart ass jokes or tell stories or whatever, which is what he's done his whole life, right? So now that he gets over onto a platform where everything he says or every sputter that he makes, they're gonna tear it apart. That makes him look worse than he is. So I think he would be much better if people would just shut the fuck up and listen instead of just crucifying him for everything he tried to say. I mean, as far as the orator goes, he does ad-lib very badly.
Yeah. And whatever, you know, everyone's got strengths. I'm not going to pretend that's one of Donald Trump's. So I'm just,
yeah,
I don't think
because that's not the important thing that he should be doing.
I agree. So yeah, and I just look at policies and what they produced, and yep, sorry, I don't want an open border. Sorry, I don't. And one of the candidates is going to give me an open border, the other one won't. You know, the other one will try to shut it down.
Right now, they're trying to make it so that they're trying to rush approve a lot of illegals so that they can vote. I think that's a cheating strategy. Someone had to actually come out and tell them, like make a TV announcement or media announcement that if you're an illegal and you vote, that's a deportable offense.
They don't care. They can just come right back.
Well, if they're found out and discounted and deported, then probably the vote will change significantly to someone who will not let them back in. Someone that's been promising to have the largest mass deportation in American history. It's funny that, and I say funny in like funny weird, that when he says that type of thing, even Hispanics who, you know, should be the ones taking offense if that was offensive, right?
Yeah.
Because that's mostly what he's talking about. Even they support it.
Right.
So, I don't know. I think that if Kamala wins, it's going to be fucking the same thing as last time. It's going to be stack shit. They're going to be finding boxes of ballots that were thrown by the side of the road and replaced. You know, notice I didn't say the magic words, but I implied them.
Yeah.
Because that's what I think would have to happen for her to really win. Either that or the country is really so stupid that we have no hope.
Yeah.
Yeah, or the third option, which I can't mention either, but that would be a reaction to that.
Oh. See, the irony is that the R in R where stands for Red Bull.
Not the irony.
Because you're giving wings.
Well, then that would be the R in Robert E. Howard. Because Robert E. Howard gave him the wings. Or even, like, what was his name? Frank, whatever, from Oz. The writer.
Frank Baum?
Yeah, I think so. Think we lost a couple people to the debate?
What?
So, because we had 4 or 5 people watching, and now we have 2. I found out why we keep getting mislabeled.
Because why?
Because there's an automatic setting on StreamYard
Okay.
when you're streaming to Twitch that unless you change it, it says save to my last setting.
Ah.
And none of my last settings should have been talk show anyway, but you have to change it when you click that adjust for channels or whatever button, the last thing you do before you set the stream.
Okay.
If you go to the Twitch part, it'll show 1 for YouTube and 1 for Twitch right below it. There'll be a little arrow under it. If you click on that arrow on the Twitch one, it'll allow you to change what you're posting under. Oh, really? All that and the 8th is too light. Well, I'm just going to have to come into it later. There's no way I'm going to take a chance on screwing it up on this paper. So, I think I might even have to just wait till daylight.
Okay.
It is really light. I can't even see that here, so I know you can. Conan's not bad. There's a few light spots on him, but nothing overly. All the stuff I just finished off pretty much, though, should be a lot darker. Well, that's disappointing.
Well, it's part of the process.
It is, but it's disappointing because I wanted to kind of lay the background layer of stuff down.
Yeah.
So that it would be more than just doing the stencil from the drawing. But it didn't get to be, so.
That's okay. Hey, you
I'm
know.
going to run on something else too, I guess. I have a little bit of time. What are you doing that? It's my fancy face endorsement. Ooh. It needs to be clean. So you were saying something? You started to and then you stopped?
Yeah, I have that special skill.
Oh, I do that too, so
And then I forget where I was.
far more often than I should. Right, it happens the older we get, it happens more often.
think I'm going to take a 9:30 leg stretch. I'll be right back.
Right.
And I'm back. So, what you doing?
You can't tell?
Well, actually, not right yet. I'm going to move my screen. Put my big clean one. It's kind of light, man. So, I think I see arms and a head. So, yesterday there was, or I guess over the weekend, there was a social media post threatening. I had like a list of students and threatening to come to the school that I work in, and so people are scared. Police handled it, whatever. But man, some of the comments that people were putting on the school stuff, I was like they were blaming the staff that showed up, for kids. It was like it was our fault, and it was like, I think you guys are missing the point, but okay. Like, there are some students, sadly, I'm sure in every school, that school's a refuge, and when we close, those kids get screwed, and that's how I look at it. At least, I don't know. I mean, look at Eli. Eli loves going to school, right? So if they close, he kind of gets hurt. So I don't understand why the parents were so upset they wanted to keep the school open. I'm pretty certain they excused all the absences. I was like, hey, if you don't like, because no one at the school was saying that, you're a bad parent or anything. If you don't want your kids at school after there was a threat, that's perfectly understandable. But I don't know. I just thought it was kind of weird that they got there were really antagonistic comments from some of the parents. I was like, if there is something that happens, we're all in the line of fire. You guys understand that? We came to school knowing that there's, whatever. But some people, I don't know. I guess I'm guilty too. I'm seeing it from my view and not other people's. And for me, it's like, I think people were angry at the wrong target. Kind of killing the messenger versus worrying about
people, right?
Yeah. It's the beauty of social media. It makes us all a little less social.
And a little more brave.
Yeah.
Because they wouldn't come and fucking say that shit to your face. Even with 7 people.
What?
Even with 7 people.
No, yeah. Are you doing a Muppet Mad Max?
Yeah.
Yes!
Nothing serious. We have a little bit of time to kill, and I can't work on that until I have white and fresh eyes. So. I have piece of paper and some time.
See, I saw something. Who's the director of the Mad Max movies?
George Miller.
Yeah, George Miller. And because I was thinking Tim Miller. No, that's not right. I think it was him who said that when he was doing Fury Road, because if you look at Fury Road, if you just mute everything and were to fast forward through Fury Road or any of the first 3 Mad Max films, there is a huge color palette change in the Fury Road one. It gets so saturated. And he said that's because apocalypse movies, I think like the Book of Eli and well, that's the best one that comes to mind. But a lot of the post-apocalyptic movies make everything kind of washed out and used up looking, and so they went the exact opposite route. And I kind of thought that was neat. It was a nice artistic choice. Helped with the spectacle. I forget the character's name. It was in the second one, and it wasn't Lord Humongous or whatever the head evil guy's name was, but it's like his second in command had a guy on a chain, and I was thinking that would be kind of funny with Kermit in Miss Piggy, but oh, Mikey. There's just so much of those movies that once you start making fun of them, it's just yeah. It's easy to be irreverent.
So, the actor's name is Vernon Wells.
Yeah.
The character's name is Wes. But Vernon Wells was in Commando. He was the bad guy that Schwarzenegger fought with a knife in Commando. He was in Weird Science. He was in Inner Space. You know, there's more. Like, I'm just seeing a couple of off ones. Have you seen the movie City of Embers?
Did what?
Have you seen the movie City of Embers? Have you? City of Embers or City of Ember?
Don't recall. Look it up. It sounds familiar, but I still don't. Yeah, I never saw that.
Oh, I think you'd enjoy it, actually.
Oh, wait. No, I have seen that. God, why did I see that? I think I've seen that. Let me double check. I'm just looking over a couple pictures.
I liked it. It was enjoyable for what it was. You see it all the time pop up under like steampunk and stuff like that.
Yeah, I've seen this.
Really technically steampunk.
God, that was from long ago. That's weird that 2008, is a long time ago. But yeah, I did see that movie. I think for some reason I had to show it to a class. So, anyway. Yeah.
That's the thing about Muppet Mad Max.
Yeah.
It cuts off the waist.
Why is that? I don't understand.
I don't know. Why?
You just put them in a car.
Right. Or I can, have him sit cross-legged on a motorcycle or, a box or something.
I hate when my ears start reacting to my headphones. Ah!
What?
Ears. Oh, every once in a while, just, I don't know. Just gotta take an earbud out and scratch my ear, and that's okay for a while. It's just, ugh. It's like my ears can't quite decide if they like the earbuds or not. Ugh. Which is kind of funny because my wife got me earplugs, noise canceling earplugs for they're not headphones, they're not electronic at all. They're just latex, and I use them a lot when I sleep.
I wanted to get noise canceling earphones for when I write during the day, so I don't interrupt anybody else doing whatever they do during the day, and so that they don't interrupt me. But what they ended up getting me was earphones, noise canceling earphones. So I have clear sounds if I want to listen to something, but it's very few things I can actually listen to while I'm writing.
Yeah.
Editing is a little bit different, but while I'm trying to come up with something new, if something has words in it,
Yeah.
they end up going into the prose. So this is going to be the sloppiest drawing because I just don't know enough to fucking
That's okay.
make it clean. Like you were expecting it anyway, right?
I wasn't expecting anything. Until it fell out of my mouth. I was like, oh. I think it's freaking awesome.
You weren't expecting me to draw it.
No, it wasn't.
It anyway.
It was just conversation from my end, and I was like, oh my goodness.
To be honest, it would have just been conversation if that would have turned out right. It would have turned out dark enough to see me, for me to see it so I could paint it. So
that's okay.
Now it's all play from here on out.
Well, I think it's a beautiful picture. Tickles my fancy.
Well, that is one of the joys of drawing, I guess. It's a whole different playground. I'm not worried about what I can and can't do on the playground. This is my playground. Oh.
Yeah, that was one of the weird parts about that story I posted on Sunday, because the guy has a pretty detailed shared world that it has to be set on, and he has some alien races already planned out, sort of. So I felt like I should use some of those, and it's just kind of weird trying to play in someone else's sandbox when I don't really know them. But yeah,
I hear that. I've been doing that for months.
Yeah.
But he basically said, "Oh, it's your sandbox. Do whatever you want."
Well, this guy is definitely not saying that. And he doesn't need to.
This guy paid me more. So.
Well, yeah, absolutely. If the guy buys this story, it's a token game. But it was so gosh darn quick. I don't know, it was weird. So doing it and getting it. That was another thing. It was an exercise in getting it done.
The exercise and getting it done.
Yeah, I felt like I haven't been finishing much.
Well, yeah, but in turn, you haven't finished something. There's something that's left undone, right?
Yeah.
So that you could do that. This is not criticism, by the way. It's just comments.
Last night I was working on the novel, and
All right.
and you know how sometimes you kind of just settle on something because it works, but you're not super happy about it, but like there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, the entire chapter that I've been writing.
Oh. Well, I had this, I needed a drop-off point, and I kept trying to figure it. Started off in a bar, and I thought, well, God, that's been, or a tavern, whatever. That's been done to death.
Okay, yeah.
I was like, all right, so then I was like, all right, I'll use a haberdashery. I always like that word. Any chance to use the word haberdashery, not a bad day. But still didn't really necessarily like it. And then last night, right before the character gets to this place, I had this idea, and now that's definitely going to be the place. But it's just kind of funny. Like, I'm willing to work with like this. The place that I have isn't going to change anything other than I think it's cooler. But that's it. Like that's legitimately pretty much the only reason why. So the other stuff was serviceable, so I could have used it. It'd be fine for the novel. It just wouldn't be awesome, I guess. And maybe I'm crazy, and this my current idea isn't awesome, but I like it. So hopefully I will have the chapter finished for Sunday.
You're the only one that has to like it.
I know, but like I can work forward for a while knowing that this is not something I necessarily like. And if I hadn't,
that slows me down.
Well, again, it wasn't the most important aspect of the story, but it was just something that I felt like.
I mean, like if I know I don't like something, it just slows me down. That's all.
Well, I don't know if "don't like" is the best way for me to describe it. Maybe more just I'm not as satisfied as I thought I could be. Just felt like I was missing a chance to put a little shine on the turd. I don't know.
Like the chapter I'm writing, I know exactly why it has to be there, right?
Right.
But because and I know there's a reason that it's just one character going through this.
Yeah.
Because it's basically not reality. And her attributes, which is what she's gaining, what's awakening.
Right.
Are different than what her brothers are, and they're limited. So, like, I'm trying to show what her qualities are to make her a stronger character. She somehow knows, not somehow, on some level, she knows it's not real. She says so. But because it's a magic realm, reality sometimes gets affected by it anyway. But it's really hard to write in a very static location with a very static number of characters and achieve the point that I'm trying to achieve, which I don't even know if it's going to succeed. I'm going to give it a shot, but I think I've reached past the halfway point, and now there's going to be another added character.
Okay.
And then she's going to come back to the real world, but she's going to come back to the real world with knowledge that she didn't have before.
Okay.
But it's hard to do that, and try to make sure that it stays interesting, try to make sure that it stays kind of believable. Like Jake said that it moved fast for him, which it's been very slow for me. But that's a good thing, I guess, if it moved fast, because then that axiom is true that nobody's going to notice how rough it was for me to write. They're just going to read the scene, which is pretty much all I can hope for at this point. Well, I'm glad you helped me work that out.
Well, I don't. There's a difference between saying, "Hey, I'm having trouble with this," and saying, "Hey, I need help with this." So I'm not going to step on
Don't you
anyone's
remember
toes.
the whole nothing box thing? A guy doesn't tell another guy his problems unless he's looking for help to solve the problem. I don't know what you can tell me, but you read it, so you know.
Yeah, I know, and I don't know what I can say on stream, which is the other part. But I don't know. I'll think about it.
And I'm going to get back to it and try to get it done as fast as I can, because it's really, when it starts becoming not fun, right?
Right.
So I've either got to find a way to make it fun again. And so I think my main thing right now is that I got her into a situation that's hard to get out of.
Yeah.
And I haven't figured out how I'm going to get her out of it before I put her in the situation. I know that was a bad move. I think I have a clue.
So you've got a relatively loose magic system, and
Yeah, she doesn't really use magic. She's not the one that uses the magic.
okay, I'm saying there can be help from outside if you need it.
No, there can't. If
Okay.
you were reading if you read the last chapter, you'll remember that you can't.
Well, okay.
It's kind of like not really a test, but it's a personalized thing where what's happening to her isn't something that anyone else really realizes is happening. Even the bad guys that are in this scene aren't really there. So, okay, I don't think it's giving anything away because you read the last draft, but she's a bit like Cassandra. As in,
Right.
the Propolis.
Yeah.
And Cassandra's big thing, and I've always been attracted to that idea, is that she can tell the future, but nobody believes it. Well, I thought pretty much if you were a 12-year-old girl and you were telling the future, would anybody believe me?
No.
And what I'm trying to do is actually show what Cassandra is seeing before she starts trying to tell everybody the sky is falling. Part of me doesn't know how much to reveal because, all right, so another assumption that you made that I said something earlier on about it, but I don't know if you caught it. Originally, this was planned for YA. This tape isn't. This tape doesn't have any preconceived notions going into it at all, except for the main character, and there's a plot. So afterwards, when all is said and done, then I'll figure out if I want to take certain things away and, manipulate it to be YA, or whether I just want it to be what it is.
So, you know how, so she kind of has her sphere of influence then. And her brother has kind of another sphere of influence, right? Would that be an accurate portrayal?
She kind of has her what?
Her own little sphere of influence. Like what? She has her abilities that aren't the same necessarily. I mean, I know she's touched the staff, so.
Yeah, that's what she's learning right now, and she's getting her abilities.
Right. So, have you thought about, she has different abilities. She needs her own kind of counterpart adversary, someone or something that's slightly different than what her brother's going to face, that can somehow mess with her trial, a taint, if you will.
So,
just spitballing.
Originally, she was there basically just to get kidnapped by bad guys.
Yeah, I know. You told me about that. And now
she's like fleshed out even.
Well, she's starting to get there. I thought she was more fleshed out in the last version, but I didn't realize where it was heading when I started fleshing them out. Now I had to readjust for that plan, and then solidify it because, like I said, it was like 4 cartoon episodes, not like one novel plot. So I took what he had and made it work to where there would be a plot that was a little bit different. I mean, I hope it's far enough different that no one's looking at it going, "Oh, this is a copy of this or that," because it's not really trying to be a copy of anything.
Right.
And it's trying to pull it away from being a copy of a bunch of stuff. So she's going to have some personal. I don't know if I want to say personal villains. There's a lot more villains in this book. Like right now, what she's dealing with is a villain for both of them. But the ultimate villain, well, there are 2 ultimate villains, right? That were in the prologue.
Right.
And both of them want something different. One of them has to do with him and what he has, well, the staff. And the other one has to do with something else that you don't find out till later, so I'm keeping that under wraps. I wanted to make her like a surprise fighter, like somebody that you weren't going to expect to be. You're going to expect her to be little bit of a, I don't know. I wanted to have a tough personality from the beginning so that you kind of get the idea that he's not a pushover, but I didn't want you to think like he was going to jump into the hero role, right?
Okay.
There are at present 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 villains, and that's just keeping it limited to the basics. There's the big baddie that was initiating a mission in the first place. There's the second big baddie who is against her brother. You know who I'm talking about. But there are going to be people, love interests, all that kind of stuff. It's basically going to end up being a time travel book, which I wasn't thinking it was going to be at the beginning.
Yeah.
So there's going to be stuff that's going on in the past. This is literally all still just a setup for what's gonna happen. So what I'm trying to do, ironically, is I'm trying to do that whole musical method, where I'm kind of telling her what's going on, and by telling her what's going on, I'm telling the reader what's going on.
Yeah.
To a point. So, and then I'll kind of show what's going on. So what she's seeing is a vision of the future, but it's more like if you go into the Bible and you read about like Joseph's dreams, right?
Yeah.
Or Joseph interpreting other people's dreams. So this is like the dream. So it needs interpreting. And that's why I'm in such a hard place, because I don't want it to be like plainly laid out, but I wanted enough clues in there for younger minds to pick up on if that's the way we're going to go, right? Right. Which is kind of a different line to walk, difficult line to walk, because how do you achieve that, like, and still have the mystery, or have something that they need to solve or resolve? So that's where I'm going. Like, she is facing her bad guys. These are going to be her bad guys. Like, they're going to be everybody's bad guys, but they're going to be more intimately her bad guys throughout the story. Which is really hard to explain without just telling a story, and I'm not going to do that here.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, one of the best pieces of advice I got on writing is don't tell the whole story to anybody, otherwise you won't feel the need to write it. But so I was kind of letting you know, I don't know, what my problem is really trying to find a way to hint at what's coming without giving it away. And there's other stuff that's going to happen because she's going to see other things that are going to happen. She's not alone in them being the main bad guys for her, right?
Right.
Not just her or Jeffrey either, like their mom. So that's going to come up too, but it's going to come up indirectly. I just haven't gotten that far, so it feels like it's not moving fast enough. You were saying, oh, it feels like you rushed this part. Well, it may be the case that I rushed that part, or it may be the case that I just can't seem to get where I want to go fast enough. And I suppose I could just magically make that situation disappear, but I feel like that would be a cheat. Like she's in a situation, she feels like she's in danger. Everybody that's been reading it, you know, should be feeling like she's in danger. So it would be a cheat for her to just poof, get out of danger. At least that's what I feel.
You're not allowed to do it. Never again. Nothing.
What?
I was making a joke. Don't worry about it. There we go. I'm looking at my file of what I sent you.
Which file you sent me?
The last. Dear God.
Slack, right?
Yeah.
I asked which because we're working on a comic book together too, and you just sent me one not that long ago that was updated from the last one. I just haven't had a chance to get into it. So I didn't know if you were talking about the comic or if you were talking about the Slack one.
No, the Slack one. I was looking because there's the part where I said it feels rushed. I wanted to remember what part we were talking about.
Oh, the one that I put.
Yeah,
Your comment on my story.
Yeah, the comment, the part that feels rushed.
Oh, well.
Because sometimes it could mean one of two different things. Because sometimes I think that when you're really cranking out words, and I'm not saying like you're without thought or anything, I'm saying you're getting a lot down, you end up with more like typos and things. And yeah. And so I was making it's like, is that what I meant, or did I mean that the thing felt rushed, as in happens too fast? And yeah, that section I just think I've seen your pros on action scene, and so that one felt kind of fast.
Well, I don't know if it was fast or if I was just trying to get to the next point.
Well, I mean, it could be.
That could be read the same way, right? So,
right.
But
also,
as far as typos go, I can be writing slow and get typos too because my keyboard lights up, and the way the lights are set up around where the area that I write, it makes those keys disappear sometimes. So I'm hitting a key next to it, or I'll hit a double, I have two keys at the same time, or just slightly off, and it'll pick the other one instead of the one that I intend, and then sometimes spell checker just screws me, decides what it thinks I'm writing.
I did like that you did. Your use of the colon, and then it's a whole pair. And I was like, I got to tell you, I was actually like, I don't think I've ever seen it quite like this.
I have.
Well, that's fine.
Well, I actually that's not there anymore. Like I've changed it, but I've changed some of the words around it too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's kind of fun when I see something I haven't seen. I mean, that's just one of those things. Like, all right, that's cool. Like, I've seen the use of a colon. Don't get me wrong. I just
like you said, I don't think you can do that.
Well, I don't think you can. I've seen the use of a colon kind of the way you're using it, but never to lead off a paragraph. And that was the part that I thought was weird. And again, I haven't seen it to not like that. I just haven't seen that. And I mean, let's face it, you're talking 20 years of students doing all kinds of things, and so I've seen all the reading stuff, but I also see stuff, that students do. So when I see something I'm pretty certain I've never seen that exact construction before, it's just kind of neat. It's like, oh, it's one of those nerdy.
The reason I went back and changed it though was that so when I did that, the next couple of sentences did what a colon leads you to do, right?
Yeah.
But they expanded beyond that, so it didn't keep it one thought. It started to change off into a second thought. So I was going to separate the sentence with the colon and the next, I think, 2 sentences off into a small paragraph, just to keep that separate. And Jake was pointing out that the things earlier than it were still related to it, so now they're part of the former paragraph, but they're kind of condensed a little.
Yeah. You gotta love that stuff. That's like every once in a while, one of you guys has said this could be read more than one. Like this could be read this way or this way, and it's like, huh. Like, never thought of it that way, but once you see it, it's like, oh, yeah. So it's just kind of, I always find that stuff interesting. I suppose that's why
you're going, no, it can't. And then you look at it again and go, oh, yes, it can.
Yeah. Yep.
That's me. I'm like, no, deny. And then I look at it again and I'm like, yeah, it is. But I've learned to accept just, more than likely they're right when they say that, and I just am feeling defensive about it because I like something about it.
Right.
So I just try to shut the fuck up until I figure out why they're right and I'm wrong. Or I just make a change because I just assume that they're right, which sometimes I've grown to realize is not really the right thing to do because it changes the voice of the story.
Yeah, sometimes I see, like Martin Shoemaker will post stuff like that about the voice and all this stuff, and I'm like, if I choose a change as the writer, that is my choice, and
right. I'm talking about automatically changing something because somebody suggested it. It's almost like you go back to beginner stages of writing, and you're like, well, either everything is right or everything is wrong.
Yeah.
Like you get that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Don't know how I expand on that, but
I do have to say that, like, I used to not agree with Martin Shoemaker about the use of Grammarly. He and I have talked a little bit about it, because I've used Grammarly before, and then I go through and I like, no, ignore, or dismiss is what it actually is. I dismiss all kinds of things, but it catches more comma things, or it's a better grammar check, and sometimes I screw something up. That's all there is to it. But now that they're advertising, oh hey, just let our AI write, basically write it for you. It just kind of makes me sick.
right?
And I pointed this out to my students. It's like, okay, if you think the AI can do it, which sometimes it can and sometimes it can't, why would your employer need you?
Right.
If they're just getting AI's stuff. So, kind of a problem, I
I think another thing is that writing is fun. Language is fun. Like if you don't enjoy language and you don't enjoy writing, why fuck around with it at all? Why don't you find something else? Don't screw it up for the people who really like it.
Yeah.
Like I that's what I was saying. Like when it starts to become work, that's a different thing, right? But if you enjoy it, like I think we're all gonna have some of it that's gonna become work.
Yeah.
But if you enjoy the ultimate, like if you ultimately enjoy writing and you ultimately enjoy reading, you kind of will ultimately enjoy the work because it's the work that you're into anyway. So I don't understand why somebody would want to not even come into it, but I don't know. I guess it's those people that are really foolish enough to think that writers are millionaires because Stephen King is, or
Right.
all writers are millionaires if they're successful, because they don't realize that the amount of success, or what we consider success as writers, is our personal goal, not a financial goal, because there's like less than 1% of writers that make it to be a millionaire. Like you can sell stuff to the movies, but generally that's not going to be, and it's not going to be quick if it is. That process is not just write something overnight and bang, you're a bestseller, or bang, you're a George Martin or something. It takes a lot of work, and a lot of people have had stuff optioned for films that never became films. But chances are, if you're using something like an AI to write a story, you're not really interested in writing a story. You either want to claim that you wrote a story, which is not the same thing as writing a story, or you just want the rewards and benefits of writing a story, which are not what you think generally. So we all hope that we're going to be a wild success, but everybody hopes they're going to be a wild success. Most of them don't cheat. Did you check that show out? Any one of those shows?
I haven't had time. I mean, I've been writing a lot. We're talking like almost 30 pages in 2 days.
I suppose I could have last night, but I had a hard time last night trying to get my stuff. Part of it was because I wasn't really satisfied with it, I guess, and so therefore I didn't want to do it. But then, like it usually happens, right about when I'm ready to give up and go to bed, that's when I get the idea, and it's like, do I stay up and do this, or do I go to sleep and hope I remember the next day?
apparently Harris claimed that she's a gun owner. Yeah, okay. Sure.
She probably is. Probably is. It's just in the form of security to protect her ass
Yeah. That's just
from all the people she fucking did wrong.
just funny.
She's a gun owner. That's a scary fucking thought.
I don't believe it at all.
Yeah, I don't either, but I don't think anybody else will either. But
Just like Hillary Clinton carries around hot sauce in her purse.
well, wasn't that long ago that Kamala was talking about gun confiscation?
Yeah.
She was calling it
Well-
mandatory buybacks, which means gun confiscation.
For everyone but, her and her people, I'm sure. Just like she's willing to prosecute pot users and then smoke pot to relax after a hard day of prosecuting pot dealers.
Right. Yeah, hypocrite, Yeah, the mandatory buyback chick is all about having guns.
Yeah. Couldn't quite see what was in his hand. Not the gun, but the shells. Took me a moment on my small screen. I was like, what is he holding? And then, so I moved to my big screen.
Makes sense now, doesn't it?
Yeah. I like how that gun rarely works, too.
Well, if you don't clean guns,
Right?
they tend to jam up, misfire, clog up. Actually, if you get a lot of dirt in the end of a gun, which is something that George Miller proved that he doesn't know shit about, it can literally backfire. It can literally make that gun backfire because it jams up the
Barrel?
well, the grooves in the barrel.
Ah, the threading?
Yeah, the threading. Because what it does is that gives it, it's kind of like smoking. When you smoke, it scratches up your veins and gives a place for plaque to stick at. So it's kind of the same thing. If you don't clean the gook out of your gun, you don't oil a gun barrel. That's just stupid. Because of the same thing, it could cause a catastrophic failure. But those grooves that spiral, those are rifling grooves is what they're really called.
Okay.
Rifling threads, but rifling. They can collect dirt and grit and either clog enough of the barrel that when the shell, like if you're shooting a shotgun, the shell opens up and throws what's in it out. All shells, whether it's shotgun or whether it's a handgun or whether it's a rifle, all shells have a projectiles packed in a casing. And when you fire and you hit that firing pin and it ignites, it throws the projectile from the casing because the gunpowder and stuff is packed up in the casing. Well, the tighter the barrel fit for the projectile, harder it has to be to press it through. And that gives you speed, that gives you, a whole bunch of factors in your ballistic factors. But if you allow that to get oily and dirty and nasty and all that, it will clog the barrel enough for that projectile to not make it out. And then the gases that are caused from the ignition of the gunpowder have no way to escape behind it. So they can literally go backwards, or that it can just explode because the force that's built up. So that's one failure of the Mad Max franchise. When he uses that gun and it doesn't fire a lot, that's actually a good thing. The bad thing is that it never catastrophically fails with all the garbage and dust and, there's no water, so, garbage and dust and dog food that's on his fingers or whatever.
Jake just posted his comments.
Huh?
Jake posted his comments for me just now.
On that story?
Yeah.
That you put? No, it was there earlier.
Oh, I didn't see it earlier.
Yeah, I saw he had some comments there earlier. Said that if you wanted to talk, one-on-one with him or whatever about it that you could.
Yeah, one of the comments is was a pacing issue that I thought.
So that was one of those things, which is good for beta readers, I suppose. But it's, yeah, sometimes I sped things up that normally I kind of wanted to slow things down. Like logically, like I kept thinking some of this stuff would take a while. But I also kept thinking, yeah, but in fiction, a lot of that stuff, people try to make it go faster. And
Yeah, there is something to be said for pacing.
yeah,
That's kind of what I was trying to do with my section, which
Yeah.
is why when you were talking about the kids in Jurassic Park,
yeah,
I'm like, I really don't want to focus too much on that because she on some level knows it's not a real dinosaur coming to get her. So. I had a friend that had a band called When Muppets Attack. He was an apprentice, actually. He died. Apprentices keep dying, so I advise you to not apprentice.
yeah. Yeah, Jake's going through, like, Jake kind of went full editor mode.
Well, that's good.
Oh, I'm thrilled. Like I'm looking at that going, huh. Like
That's actually what I like about Jake is that he does do that. Like,
Well, there's also a detachment, which is nice. Like, I have a hard time looking at what can we cut because I'm thinking, oh, no, this can be cut. It's all perfect. And Jake's just going through with 988 words here, and I'll cut that by 10 to 15%.
yeah, he used to run a cutting blog. You know that?
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, that was way back when we were in Hat Track. He had another pseudonym. I don't know if he wants me to let you in on it, but he had another name, so he went by Jake Freebald, and he went by another name as well. But he ran a cutting blog where he would take samples of prose and then cut them by sometimes 10, sometimes 30% or whatever, but not change what the actual author was saying. He's got a really great talent for the ability to cut the excess words without changing what you're trying to say, like without rephrasing your words. It's just cleaning up the clutter.
well, one of the comments,
Cleaning out the clutter.
he's complaining about the name of one of the alien races, and that's one I can't change.
Oh, yeah. Did you let him know that?
Well, I put it in my comments, but
Yeah.
it doesn't matter one way or the other. It's just I'd come up with
Is it a copyright issue or something?
Well, I mean, it's part of the shared world. It's
Well,
one
I
of the
mean,
things.
is
That, huh?
I mean, what he was saying. What?
He just said that it reminds him of diet hamburgers, and I
It
see
reminds him of what?
diet.
Hamburgers.
Diet hamburgers.
Yeah. And
I don't know what that is, but it kind of strikes me funny. Yeah, you got no control over what a shared. If you're writing in not even a shared world, what you're writing in is somebody else's domain.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, like, I know exactly because I made an alien race, and I was very particular.
actually, what's funny is, so I named the alien race what I named it, and I know my process for it. And I realized about 3 minutes before we were supposed to meet on Sunday, I had misspelled my own alien name, like over and over. Like I had started spelling it one way and kept doing it that way.
Yeah, I've
And
done
it
that
doesn't
too.
matter because it's gibberish.
Yeah, it's hard with made up names, but like I keep a like a cue card pad next to my laptop,
Yeah.
you know, just for those things because I know I do that too.
Oh.
Nice. See, now it's just giving me more ideas. Like, if you think about the Master Blaster character, that's kind of like the puppet being in control of the hand.
Or I would say Beaker and Dr. Bob.
Yeah.
I do like your splatters.
I think they add something to it.
I agree.
I don't know if it's something good, but
Something fun.
you realize the more random you try to get, the more patterns you create?
Well, yeah.
Ta-da!
It's beautiful, man. Beautiful.
I don't know if it's beautiful, but it's something. I produced something on this show besides a start of something. I'm gonna have to actually clean that up when it's daylight. So I'm not gonna be able to do it on stream, and I'm certainly not gonna fire up a stream in the middle of the day because it would absolutely be chaos around here.
Yeah.
So I'll get that roughed in. Actually, one of the good things about it is all the stuff I put in there that I was worried about being too dark
Yeah.
isn't too dark. But during the daylight, I think I'll be able to see it better. And instead of going in with a graphite paper, which is very hard to erase or cover,
Yeah.
I'll go into it with this lighter pencil. So yay, that's a win. All right, so that's it for the night. Can I knock my camera on? No, I guess that would be straight. So yeah. All right, so anyone that watched, especially the whole way through, thank you for watching the whole way through.
Yeah.
Thank you for subscribing, and following. I don't think there's anybody that commented there like the hell with that tonight.
That's all right. They were busy watching the debate.
Yeah, probably not. But I actually would. I would love to see what the actual ratings are on the debate because I got a feeling that not as many people watched it because it was held at 9.
And because nobody cares.
Well, I think there are some people that care, but what I'm getting at is that it was held so late that there aren't a lot of kids that are going to want to hang out to watch a political debate. You know what I mean? So the people that she normally panders to probably didn't make it till she could pander to them. But now I've got to go look at the highlights of it. So, with that said, good night. God bless. Much love.
Peace.